Hey guys, it's Jen Hillman, and today we're going to do a little bit of stretching. And I've gotten a lot of comments and feedback from people who have maybe suffered some injuries or are just really tight and are concerned that they might not be able to really get into some of the other stretches that I've demonstrated in my previous videos. So today I want to show you guys some stretches that you can do that are really great when you have really tight hips or tight knees. And I've got some towels here and some extra pillows that I'll be using and show you how you can bolster yourself in some of these poses to make it a little bit easier to get into some of this stuff. So this will be a really nice way to get into your stretches without worrying about hurting yourself if you're really tight. So go ahead and grab some extra pillows. I just pulled some off the couch, just little small pillows. You can use pillows off of your bed or any pillows that you have around the house. And I have here just a small hand towel that we'll use. And then I also have just a full-size bath towel. So you can grab those things, will be helpful for you during this video. All right. So to get started, I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite hip stretches. So essentially, we're moving to bring the soles of your feet together and your knees out wide. But a lot of people have really tight hips, so your knees only come up this high, and then it's very tight and it's not comfortable. So there's a few things you can do. One thing you can try is just sitting up on a pillow. So you just lift your hips a little away from the floor. And so for some of you, that might be enough to go ahead and feel more comfortable to open your knees to the side. And if that's still not enough, then you can use 2 more pillows underneath your legs here. That'll help give you a little more lift in your knees and help you feel more supported. And some of you might even want to take extra pillows and stack it up even more. So whatever you need to let yourself feel comfortable here, but you don't want to support yourself too much that you're not getting a stretch, okay? So you just have to work within your limitations and find out where it feels best, that you can open through your inner thighs, opening through your hips. So this is a really nice stretch just right here. Then if you want to work into your outer hip, then grab onto your feet, lift up through your chest, lead with your heart and reach your body forward. And even if you only go this far, that's enough. So I'm already feeling a nice stretch in my inner thigh here and starting to feel a stretch across the back of my hip. So we'll just take a few moments here to breathe and stretch. Keep reaching your heart forward. So sometimes the temptation is to round your chest forward, like hunching your back. But you really want to lead with your heart, so you're lengthening your spine to reach your heart forward. This is going to help you get more of a stretch through your inner thighs. So this is very nice. And from here, we can take this into an even more passive stretch, keeping your legs and hips supported right where you are. We'll go ahead and grab your bath mat or bath towel. And so I've just got it folded up, kind of nice tight stack here. Then I'm gonna lay my towel on the floor behind me long ways so that I can lay all the way back onto my towel. And just make sure my knees are still supported. And I lay all the way back onto my towel here. So you can also use a blanket here. You can roll up a blanket. That can be helpful if you prefer that instead of a towel. And especially because blankets can fold up a little thicker. So if you need to lift your chest even higher, then sometimes a blanket might be more helpful. Or you can use another pillow or another towel, just anything you need to lift your heart up. And this is a really nice place to relax and recline. And you can stay here in this pose for as long as you like, as long as it feels good. And gravity is doing the work on your legs, just gently pulling your knees apart. And eventually, once you get more opened and more relaxed, you can remove these lower pillows and just let your knees fall down towards the floor, getting an even deeper stretch. And then I like to add in another component by grabbing this other pillow, and I'm going to lay it on the floor above where my head lies down. So I'll come back onto my pillow, lay my head all the way down. Then you can bring your arms up overhead to rest on the pillow above you. And this gives you a nice gentle stretch through your chest and shoulders. So this also feels really nice, a nice way to open up your chest and pecs. And I usually like to put on some relaxing music so I can just kind of bliss out here and totally relax. And you'll notice this doesn't require a lot of effort or energy on your part. Gravity is doing a lot of the work for you here. So it's a nice, easy way to start stretching into your body a little at a time. And it really does make it easier for you to get into some of these more advanced stretches later on in your practice. So just feel free to stay here as long as it's feeling good for you. Then whenever you're ready, just gently work your way back up to a seated position. And then I'll go ahead and bring my towel off my mat and grab that extra pillow for later. So another stretch, great hip opening stretch that I'd like to show you, actually doesn't require any pillows, but there's ways that you can start out making it really simple and then take it deeper as your body becomes more flexible. So this is another hip stretch that gets into the outer part of your hip a little bit more. And this is really good because a lot of people have a lot of tension built up in your hips and your glutes. So it's really important to stretch out these muscles. So I start just seated on my mat, and I'll place my weight into my hands, and my feet are flat on the floor, but extended away from my hips. So the first place to start is just cross one ankle over your knee and let your knee open out to the side. So for some of you, this might be enough hip stretch already, just like this. And if that's the case, then you just stretch, keep reaching your knee open. Stretch your knee towards the floor so you open through your hip. And if you'd like to take it a little deeper, you can walk your other foot in a little closer. Keep opening your bent knee out to the side and lift up through your heart. So I'm getting even more sensation in my hip now. To take it even deeper, you can walk your hands a little closer to your body. Lift up through your heart. So this is a lot of sensation, even for me, and I have a lot of range of motion. So wherever you find that nice juicy stretch where you're finding that edge and it's time to pause, go ahead and stop right there. That's exactly where your body is ready to stretch. Then when you stay here for a few minutes, it starts to open and soften and relax, so you can take it just a little bit deeper. So the next step from here is actually to bring your hips closer to your heel. Then I still have my weight in my hands to lift my heart up. Keep opening your knee out to the side. Just stretching deeply into your outer hip. And then to come out of this, you just walk your hands back. Scoot your hips back. So we come out the same way we went in. And extend your foot along your mat to release all that pressure. And release your foot down. All right, so we'll move on to the other side. And just cross your ankle over your other knee. And continue opening this knee out to the side. So you're really stretching into your hip. And this might be the perfect place to stop, or it's just a good place to start. So you just stretch here, gently opening into your hip. Then as you're ready to go a little deeper, walk your heel in, closer to your hip. Then press into your hands to lift your heart up. So this will get you a nice, juicy sensation in your outer hip. You'll be really feeling this. So wherever you're feeling that sensation, just take some nice deep breaths and let your body relax. You can get more sensation by walking your hands closer in. And you can get even more by sitting your hips closer to your heel. Walk your hands in so you lift your heart. This is nice and tight. Everything is compact. You're stretching deeply into your hip. So you just find your stopping point. Wherever your sensation is the most intense, you just pause there and breathe into it. It's perfect exactly where you are. Then you can practice these stretches as often as you like. If you practice every day, then you'll be amazed at how quickly your flexibility will improve. So I recommend practicing these stretches as often as you can. And when you're ready to come out, just the same way that you came in, you'll sit your hips back. Extend your foot out and gently release your foot back down to the floor. Very nice. So now your hips should be feeling nice and stretched and noticing a little bit more openness. So another stretch I like to do is a forward fold to stretch into your hamstrings. And so typically you would just extend your legs out in front. Now some people with really tight hamstrings, you can't even straighten your knees here, or if you do, you have to sit way back because it's too tight to sit all the way up tall. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can use a pillow again to sit on, so that lifts your hips away from the floor, and that might be just what you need to go ahead and lengthen your legs out in front. For some of you, your knees still need to be bent, so this is where I like to use a towel. And I'll roll my towel up. So I have a little towel log. And then from here, I'll just bring the towel underneath my knees, right? So now I have a little support there underneath my knees. I'm not just pressing my knees down into the floor where it's too tight. So here I'm lifted and supported in my hips, supported in my knees. Then I can start to fold over and reach for my feet. And if you're not able to make contact with your feet, that's the perfect time to use your small hand towel, because you can wrap your towel around the soles of your feet and then use it to pull your heart forward. So this is getting that nice stretch in the backs of your hamstrings. And the idea here, lead with your heart. So you lengthen your spine. Instead of hunching over and rounding your body forward, you want to lengthen your spine out and reach your heart forward down towards your feet. So you can stay right here as long as you need. This is also one of my favorite stretches, because you can hold this stretch for several minutes, and at first it feels tight and stiff. Then the more you breathe and soften into the stretch, after a little bit of time, And then you're able to stretch a little bit deeper, going a little farther. This is also a really great stretch to do in the bathtub. So when you're sitting in a tub full of warm water, then it warms up your muscle tissue and improves your circulation. So it makes it easier to stretch. So you can really just sit in a bathtub with your legs extended in front of you and just gently fold your body forward. And you can stay here for a nice long time. It feels really, really nice. And this is a really great stretch for people that have low back problems, because a lot of times tension in your low back can be a result of tightness in your hamstrings. So your hamstrings are pulling on your pelvis, and then that kind of throws everything out of whack in your low back and up your spine. So stretching your hamstrings on a regular basis will help lengthen out that muscle tissue and relieve tension along your low back. So this is really nice. It's really good for you in a lot of ways. So then whenever you're ready, you just come up, you can release your towel, and remove your towel from underneath your knees. You can remove your pillow from underneath your hips. So one last stretch I'll show you guys today is a really great heart opener. So if you have tight chest and tight pecs and you have this hunch going on in your upper back, if you're sitting at a computer all the time or if you're driving all the time, this is probably your MO, right? Like, this is how we exist in our body. So I'm going to show you guys a great stretch that opens up your chest, that's going to stretch out your pecs and open up that tension in your upper back. So we're going to go ahead and grab a hold of your towel, still rolled up, little towel log. I'm going to grab a pillow with me. So I'll lie my towel kind of long ways, perpendicular to my mat here. And then lie back so that the towel comes directly underneath my shoulder blades. Then you can use a pillow underneath your head if you need that extra support. And if you don't need the support, you can go without your pillow under your head, and that's nice too. And so again, you can incorporate this chest stretch by bringing a pillow above your head to rest your hands here. So you can see from this side view that I'm getting a really good stretch in my upper back without compromising my low back. So this is a really nice stretch to do. You can do this stretch in bed, you can do this while you're watching TV, you can do this lying on the couch, wherever it feels comfortable. And just lift through your heart by supporting your back with a towel or a blanket. You can even use a rolled up yoga mat, works perfectly underneath your shoulders here. And then you can just kind of find that placement, find where the towel or the blanket needs to go so you get the best benefit, the maximum stretch where you need it the most. And it'll be different for everyone because everyone's body is different. And we all hold tension in different places. So just find whatever works for your body. And again, this is a stretch that you can stay in for a really long time. You could even fall asleep like this. Eventually you'll roll off the blanket because it will be ready to get more comfortable. But this is just a really nice place to rest. And let gravity help you. Let gravity do the work. You just reach your heart up towards the sky. And then whenever you're ready to come out, just gently bring your forearms down to the floor so you can press your weight up. And come back up to sitting. And then your spine feels nice and long after doing that stretch. It's really, really nice. Your heart feels open, your chest is open, there's less tension in your upper back. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Go ahead and favorite it so you can come back and watch again. And as you get familiar with these poses, you can incorporate them into your life anytime. So if there's one or two that are just your absolute favorites, go ahead and practice as much as you can. The more often you can practice these stretches, the faster you'll get results, the more flexibility you'll see.